So I've reached level 130 on my Shadow Knight. Started working on some of the AAs. I finished all the mercenary and partisan tasks for the first two zones. I think you'll enjoy the first two zones. I don't want to diminish them. I don't want to say they're easy. They're just comfortable to do, and you won't have any problem completing this. I got to about 129 by, say, Thursday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, finished the first two zones in terms of mercenary and partisans. I still haven't done the collects, haven't done the hunters. And then I ran my Thursday night group through all of the mercenary and partisan tasks for Scarred Grove. And then on Saturday, we got together and did all the mercenary and partisan tasks for the Candlemaker's Workshop. So that's about the pace I was going. Then I moved into Arkstone at 129, and it is much more difficult. Movement around that zone is very hard. You're going to want to be very careful. There's a lot of undead, see-invis mobs, etc. Some aggro, some are social, some aren't. I spent a lot of time dying as I got re-familiar with the zone, because when you do beta and you can go to Old Man Thorn and just skip to the different zones, you don't do a lot of the travel in the same way. I'll probably do a video later. You're going to have to go through these islands, and I did this before, but it seemed really hard this time. Going up these, you go up waterfalls, you go through wicker passages. You fall off, you end up in West Freeport, which sounds fun once or twice, but about your fifth or sixth fall, it's a pain, because you either have to, the zones are linear. You have to go through Scarred Grove, Candlemaker's Workshop, and then into Arkstone Ruin Relic, and then work your way to wherever you were. I ended up binding a wizard in East Freeport. There is a zone into Arkstone at the top of the Mage's Tower. And so I bound a wizard there, and it speeds the process up a little bit, and then I don't have to go through all the zones. I just keep him to be okay. He teleports to bind, and I zone in. I have not finished progression in Arkstone. I'm getting there. So this is where I'm sort of in. I finished 2 of the mercenary tasks. I have to kill 3 vile Strikens. And to do that, you kill corrupted Strikens, and then these vile Strikens spawn. But it's a very, as you might imagine, the zones are very crowded right now. And I haven't hit a time when I can just start killing to get those. Echoes of Fallen Light. This is the first partisan task. This first thing, you just kill these undead mobs, these Arkborn Wraiths, and they randomly drop one of these items. So eventually you're going to have more red than you know what to do with, and you're going to be waiting for blue, or you'll have more blue than you know what to do with, and you'll be waiting for red. It's a good, you find a static spawn and just kill it over and over again, and you can pull trash or whatever you want to do, which is what I did. I finished off one of the mercenary tasks while I was doing that. The Arkstone Wraiths are not social, so there is one spot where you can kill one and pull 2 more, so you can basically farm 3 of these and pull them all, and most of the time you're not going to get adds. It is along a wall, the west wall, so if you go up on the west wall and move along the top, you're going to come upon an Arkstone Wraith. Well, there you found the spot. There's 2 other Wraiths around, so there's 3 total. But it's easy to get trained there. Then you need to speak with Verona Vi. That means you're going to have to learn how to move through the zone. This is an anti-boxer zone. It is hell for boxers. You're going to want to, have a mage in your group for sure if you're going to be a boxer. And you're going to probably want to just have the mage go to various places and then port them in. But you speak with Verona Vi, then eventually you kill a Null Forged Titan. My recommendation is spend some time in Arkstone on your own, just exploring and learning where the sea invis mobs are and learning how to navigate the waterfalls and the other areas. You want to do that on your own because it's embarrassing if you fall. If you fall, you have to run back. As you get familiar with the zone, it becomes easy. So I haven't quite finished the first partisan task there. Shards of Magic is working towards the evolving mask. I need one more of these and then continue that progress, so I'm not far in. I've done the first 3 missions. None of them seem outrageously hard. If anything, I think they are easier than any of the missions in Heroes Forge when you're talking an on-level item area. I did get the Palette Cleanser, which unfortunately I'm not a warrior on this character, and there was no warriors. That is a warrior-only one-handed slashing weapon. And I got the Venerable Claypool of the Storm Stomper. That is the Paladin Shadow Knight group weapon. And I got a Fretful Picker. Or I've already opened up over here. Fretful Picker. I haven't done what I need to do to be able to convert this, but it's a damage 39, so that's a little bit better than it, maybe 2 better than it was before, maybe 1 better, I forget. Nice ratio weapon, decent. Happy with it. Run the first 3 missions. I have not done the 4th yet. I'm running with some friends from Fu World Order. So those are raid geared guys. And so I'm not going to tell you exactly how easy those missions are because when you're working, I was tanking and we had, two very well raid geared DPS classes. And for instance, the final mission, we were able to just burn it down on the final of the 3. To get to each of these missions is a challenge. You're going to have to move through the zones. It's linear. You can't port in past the first zone. So again, having a mage if you're a boxer, and I hope you're not a boxer. If you can, this zone, people are like, how hard can it be? It's annoying as heck. It's annoying as heck. But I am enjoying the expansion. I enjoyed it in beta. I enjoy it now. There are certain changes I would make. I do not like going up those waterfalls. There are people who do it easily, and it is a pain for me every time. I really hate it. And so that's kind of the current status. I hit 130 on Sunday because I basically stopped working progression. As I said, I went through the first zone in a day. I went through the second in a day. And by a day, I mean a session, 4 hours or so. Not hard. Third zone, stalled out. Was not gaining experience. These are not fun mobs to grind. And so I went back to doing like the Heroes Forge rotation, and you still get surprisingly good experience there, and you can, the tanks, I think, saw a substantial upgrade in terms of tanking ability, not so much in DPS. I was running some numbers a little bit, and these are not exact, but like say LI mobs seem to have about 68 million hit points. You can argue with me that, but that's, what I'm recalling. Heroes Forge maybe had a little bit more, maybe 70 million. In TOB, at least in the first zones, you're looking, 80 to 90 million. Scarred Grove Candleworks, you're looking around 109, 110 million. So there's some creep in terms of hit points. You get into Arkstone, and you're looking at 149 to maybe 200 million for your average trash. And so while you're still doing the same DPS, it seems like you're doing less because it's taking a lot longer to kill the mobs. And tanks, at least yet, I've gotten the Claymore, but, I'm not fully geared up with anything new. So my DPS has not taken a huge progression in terms of what it was before. So I feel like tanking wise, you will own old content. I can go in to Brood Architect Hazuri, which took me, I was able to solo that mission towards the very end of the expansion. It was taking me 50 plus minutes to do, though. 50 minutes to an hour to do, because I was doing a lot of tricks to be able to get past the content. Raid SKs were doing the mission solo in 15 to 20 minutes. So that gives you kind of a range, I was having to, there's times like if my mercenary died, I might just tank one mob. I might go down to two-handed. I might just stop hitting and let my pet tank it some in order to let things spawn again. I'm not saying I was good. I'm just saying I was doing tricks to get over stuff that I couldn't power through. Now I go in and the mobs are light blue for the most part. And, you own those missions. And because there's this hit point inflation of the mobs, the new damage shields they're impactful, but they're not as impactful as you might think because there's so many more hit points. You go back in the old content and those damage shields tear stuff up. So that's the state of play. I'm happy with the Shadow Knights. I was going to be working my Bard up, but I think I'm going to work my Shaman up next. You guys take care. I will talk to you later.